Welcome back to part two, SDL. Also, want to give a shout out to House Locality. If you look on, I also teach online classes, so look at the link um, in the main description. Every Friday, so we're going to continue part two with B-Boy Maurizio, aka the next one.
All right, all right.
All right, I had to get my wine.
Good, good. I should take mine too.
You want to go grab it?
Real quick, real quick.
While we're waiting for him, I'm going to give you another clip of what Maurizio does.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving him a little.
Qualsiasi cosa noi faremo, anche cosa vorremmo individualmente, il fine sarà sempre tagliato dalla musica. Sicuramente ci potrà avere molte dire che prima o poi non siamo mai visti, ma deve essere bravo, come tutti i giochi deve essere deve seguire almeno l'idea di cosa vuol dire ballare break insieme, bisogna avere un profondo rispetto all'unità infinita, perché trattare un brano del genere con superficialità e dire sono capace a ballarlo quando non altro è difficilissimo suonarla, figuriamoci ballarla. Questa cosa quello che da prima si è censura, la trama che sente, non c'è allora con noi abbiamo un esercizio dove cercare di passare oltre la vita sua, perché poi una cosa dice che su dei risultati delle altre cose che non si vedono, ok? Ma sono molto importanti.
All right.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
have to give him like a little
Cool.
intermission there. For my English-speaking folks, can you break down that workshop real quick? What was that about? What were you saying?
That workshop?
Yeah, do you remember that workshop?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, you know, it was one of the workshops, basically, a certain moment, I realized that there were so many workshops all around everywhere you could go. There was so many workshops, right? So, but I was like, these kids, do they really need learning more steps and moves? So I was like, my idea is I don't think they really need to learn more steps and moves, because see, the science in learning one move and make it look like a real life.
Yes.
There's already the secrets. If you are able to conquer and master and achieve it, that type of experience, because it is really an experience. If you're able
Yes.
to control it, then then basically you're gonna apply in all every kind of stuff you wanna show up or you wanna throw whatever. But
Yes.
having a bag full of steps and moves, still to me it doesn't gonna make you look what you maybe think you are.
Mm.
So I was like, me personally, I decide, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna share certain vibes. I'm gonna make sure people can learn a certain type of foundation that works with every single human being, not only special human beings with certain, a background or whatever or muscles, right? When a
Mm.
method works, it works with everyone, for everyone. Otherwise, there is something wrong in it. So to me,
Yes.
that's one of those workshops that basically I share in order to, you know, try to bring in more people and to realize if you really are what you're saying, you don't need to say, just feel it and let your love speaks for you. So once again,
Mm.
it's not your steps and your moves that speaks for you, because maybe your steps and moves can also speak for you in order of confusion or misunderstanding,
Yes.
because the way you execute
Mm.
it not necessarily show the beauty of what uh, is involved, or the culture that is involved, or or
Mm.
or the people that put it in the map in a certain moment in this journey and gave a light and fun to others to try. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So once again,
Yes.
and that connection, it kind of brought me back to the Bruce Lee students on Enter the Dragon, when his students looking at the finger while he's pointing the moon. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to share with you guys, the essence. And if you get into
Mm.
the essence, all the rest will come all along. Give it time. But
Yeah, you're basically teaching from a different perspective, and it's a perspective I recognize because that's the way I teach when I teach house. Um,
good.
I don't teach from the perspective of moves. I don't or steps. I teach from the perspective of music knowledge. Um, I teach musicality, but I teach musicality in terms of theory, and I turn that theory into movement. And I do that to let the students know you can use this and apply it to whatever you're into because the common narrator is music we're dancing to.
Yep.
So when you look at the dance in terms of sound as opposed to steps, it gives you a broader perspective of creativity. So when I teach that, I teach the the potential of your creativity when you're dancing. I don't really focus on steps or how to or technique. I'm not saying that's wrong. I mean, they have some that does that, but I think there needs to be a balance. Just like you said, so many people are teaching quote unquote steps that it slowly begins to segue away from the point of what dancing should be about in the first place, which is music.
Exactly.
Um, I would I would love to. I'm saying this now in my magazine, and I'm going to make this happen. You and I are going to teach a workshop together.
Oh, that's dope.
We're going to make this happen. I promise you. We're going
Okay.
to make this
Sounds good.
happen.
Sounds good
House
to me.
and B-boy under the same roof. Let's make this happen
Yeah, everything is possible.
for
Uh,
sure. For
I,
sure.
I gotta say, on a dance perspective, see, if you connect your soul to the music, once you feel a certain um, personal experience vibe, you are interpreted in that particular moment. Uh, that's when the journey start putting the seeds of a certain process that will come through time, through work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you say, ain't nothing wrong in teaching in steps. Yes, ain't nothing wrong, but sometimes you have to realize if you build in a house and you start from the roof, you know, maybe that house, I don't know how strong it would be. So to me,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to travel pretty much all around the world. I've been to like maybe, I don't know, 80, 90 country. I've been a lot of places. And it's
Mm.
funny, I've been witness also certain things that to me sometimes looks funny. Like I see people teaching how to throw your hands in the air. And to me, like that means you never been in a show, in a concert, in a club, you know what I mean? So once again, um, what's the meaning of teaching more and more steps and moves when the people missing certain experience that before was essential? Once again, uh, I started from Kenny Borg rising to the top. So to me, if I were going in a hip hop club or whatever, definitely I wouldn't hear some Kenny Borg rising to the top, because
Mm.
it wasn't a separation between the classic and the rap or whatever. It was, it was
Nope.
part of the same culture. So once again,
Yes, sir.
the culture is going to be taken as a certain reflection of a possible distortion. Then you have that type of results. So once again, hip hop is so powerful in so many different ways. So why
Mm.
why you lower down its potential just because certain people don't know certain things, or certain others don't want to take the responsibility to show in the way?
Yes.
Because entertainment is one thing, teaching is another thing, educational is another thing.
Hmm.
So you can
Hmm.
educate people and not necessarily gonna entertain, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're teaching a certain education to people, not necessarily is gonna be uh pleasant enough, to be accepted. Hard for the people to take it, because they're gonna face in the mirror their weakness. So once again,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the teaching, there is also responsibility not only to promote yourself, how good you are, how cool you are, in order to make sure you're gonna get the next gig or the next opportunity, which is nothing wrong with that. We all gotta
Right.
survive. We gotta, but there is also a responsibility. Don't play with with people dreams, to me.
Yes.
So in a
Yes.
certain point, I figure out why I'm on a self mission, trying to bring the people in a certain dimension they're not able to reach. It's better
Mm.
to realize what is going on while you're doing something, what they really, you gotta understand. You gotta try to read their mind in order to see maybe they should need to learn this first. So you
Right.
take a responsibility. I think you should take this first, because otherwise,
Responsabilidad. Absolutely.
yeah, it's a choice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Next
just,
topic.
just to
Uh,
finish the concept,
mm-hmm.
just to finish the concept, is the same exactly process to me when I spin in clubs or whatever.
Mm.
When you throw a piece, a jam or whatever, a song, a break,
Mm.
you take the responsibility to do something a certain moment, because you feel that you want to create a certain type of journey. You don't want to create a chart list, a sequence of a list of a bunch of songs that people want to hear because they like it. You take
Mm.
responsibility So while you're spinning, you look at the crowd and see the reaction, and this is the essence of our culture. No matter what we do, so it's action reaction, action reaction.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so no you so once again you got to be able to translate on the different with all the different elements, but in the essence,
Mm.
I think it works the same way.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, there's a huge misconception about this culture. Speaking of hip hop, and I'll be more specific. The misconception about this culture called hip hop is all you got to do is get yourself an Adidas tracksuit, buy the new Jordans, um, learn the new handshake, um, talk a certain way, um, and I want you to speak it. I want you to explain. Is there such a misconception as that? Because I want to play devil's advocate. I don't want to say I'm right. I want to ask you: is there such a misconception?
Well, mis I think the misconception is a reflection of something that you know uh, hip hop culture creates so many tools that gave opportunity and fun to many people. So
Mm,
a tool, it depends how you're gonna use it. The tool. So once again,
mm,
if you got a certain knowledge, you decide how you want to use that tool. If you want to just
mm,
emulate something because it looks cool, not necessarily the result is going to be the same. Then
mm,
again, um, whatever was created in this culture or was bring it to light in order to use it, it's fun. But on the other side, you have to understand that on a human level, everything in life inspires, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. So once again, if you want to
mm,
raise confusion, you're going to be able to do that too. If you want to
mm,
raise negativity, you're going to be able to do that too. But if you stand
mm,
for a culture, a movement that includes so many individuals, they put their efforts and work and lifetime experience into it in order to express a certain something that many some miles away benefit. So you have
mm.
to understand and decide who you want to be and what kind of role you're going to play. That's what I feel about
Yes.
it. It's not about right or wrong because even the people that was
Mm.
wrong, you're gonna pay the price why you're wrong. So it's a choice.
Yes.
But then you understand
Yes.
if you spin on your head over and over, that it's good. It's part of that culture, but isn't that culture because you do that? Isn't that
Mm,
culture what because you wear a certain stuff? Just because you wear it
mm,
is a culture? No. A culture is more complex. Why is it complex?
mhm,
Because already individuals are complex. So we can have the
mm.
same Adidas tracksuit, but probably we're not gonna rock it in the same way. So we can use the same steps, but not necessarily gonna throw it in the same way, or the result that we want to give a priority is not gonna be the same way.
Mm,
Okay, same thing. We can buy the
mm.
same record, but not necessarily we're gonna speak from the same exactly point, or at the exact same
Yes.
time, or in.
Yes.
So once again, we are the result of our knowledge, also, not only or our emotional whatever reaction we have in a certain moment because we love it. Because people in general like to say, "Oh, I love it so much." Are you really sure you love it? Because I want to see it in time if you really love it. Because not me personally, but in general, be like, don't tell me anything. We'll see. If I see you
That's it.
in in 10 years, they'd be like, oh, dope, you're still here. That's dope. I see you the next 10 years. So once again,
That's it.
it depends how you went deep with this culture. But
That's right.
I
What's your
cannot
intention?
say,
Yes.
I can definitely not say that there isn't the opportunity just to remain for so long stuck in the surface. Many people to me are still in the surface, no matter how many years, you know, we have lived about this culture. It's life.
Um, we had few conversations leading up to this interview, and you spoke about the system. Um, and I guess the system um, pinpointing towards Italy, but not. I don't want to say just Italy. I think at this point it's worldwide because everywhere in the world that is associated with hip hop or house or whatever quote unquote again street dance culture there's a system. So break down the particular system here from your mouth.
You know, go specific. Tell me something specific, and I'll tell you. Because
Um,
otherwise, I would be. A system is very general. You know, unless you given a specific refer.
of course, great answer. In my opinion, what I've seen in Italy per se, Prato and Florence. I want to associate the two because they're both right across the street from each other.
Okay.
It's almost like they have created a fake reality, and in this reality, have teachers and students, but the real world views everyone in this reality as students, and I can say that because I'm actually from the place where the culture was born. So it's easy for me to see someone that's perpetrating or not being honest to it. But I don't. But I think it's if you're someone that has both of all of your three eyes open, you can always see someone that's not authentic. But my feeling is that there's a fake reality that uh, it's almost like and the journey takes patience, but it's like people teaching the seeds of their ideas to people like yes men because they're much easier to control. And it's things like this that creates this fake reality. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Well, you know, I don't have. First of all, I don't have all the truth in my hands. I can share experience. I can say
Mm,
concerning my knowledge as being Italian. Uh,
mm,
you know, nobody gave us the books of instructions how it is supposed to be this culture, how we're
mm,
supposed to act or react or dress
mm,
or share in a certain way. But then
mm,
that doesn't mean we ain't able to learn it because
mm,
human being, as a human being, you can live it in the ghetto, but that doesn't mean you're stupid. Okay. Once again,
Real talk.
individually, you can make the difference, and how through your work. So works
Yes.
create the balance between individual, not only not on a human level as a race or as a whatever souls or whatever. You know, I mean,
Mm,
I mean, if if we do the same type of work, it'd be like, oh, you know how hard this work, and you feel like, yeah, I feel you. You know, it took me, I don't know, 1 week to do that thing. I mean, like, me even more. So that's the type of balance you find in people. Be like, you feeling the same pain, struggle, but also the joy. You share the joy and the success. Why? Because especially in a culture that you're not alone. the culture is not, it doesn't stop because you stop, or the culture,
Right.
you know, the culture want to go anyway, no matter how. So
Continues.
it's up to you how you want to fit in and how you want to be relevant in this culture. So it depends
Mm-hmm.
the work you have apply and do it to yourself first. So once again,
Mm.
when you say a system, I mean, you already know. I mean, there is no love for the pioneers in Italy. You already know. You am from here, but you be able to see this,
Of course. Easy.
right? So
Yes.
again,
Yes.
if you do the math, if you have no love for those ones that started before you, you are already disconnected.
Yes.
It's self-explanatory. So all the
Yes.
rest is a result of, or reflection as a submission or unaware confusion or perpetrate confusion. It's all possibility, but
Mm-hmm.
part of the same seeds.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know that much about how the function how of this culture, that's when you don't realize that looking for the enemies outside, that doesn't mean you are you didn't do the work in your inside.
Yes.
Right?
It starts with yourself. Yes.
Yes, you gotta clean up your act before clean up the act of others.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because. Mm-hmm.
and I want to say this, for for instance, I don't have to like you because you as individual are in a certain way. But if I'm
Mm.
involved in a certain culture, I have to like your work if I'm interested in your in be part of this culture. So once again, I don't really
Mm-hmm.
know if, for example, uh, Cool Herc or Grandmaster Flash or whatever is a cool human being or not. That they have nothing
Mm-hmm.
to do with you. You have to
Right.
realize if his work was relevant in order to create this culture or not. If his work was,
Mm.
important to many
Mm.
in order to apply and keep going. So once
Mm.
again, people sometimes using their own personal space slash power to do whatever
Mm.
they want because maybe for different reasons. Someone
Mm-hmm.
they just don't lazy. Others don't want to go deeper. Others
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they're more oriented on a negative aspect, and so they are
Yes.
more jealous than uh, helpful for themselves and others. So all this element is, and there is more ingredients, but that create somehow some way the aspect of the confusion because
Mm-hmm.
it's like no matter how you like it or don't like it, if you play basketball, you can't say Jordan is not part of this culture or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from different generation is not part of this culture. Because if you say you ain't native right away,
Yes. Yes.
okay?
You know,
So
like. Mm.
so yeah, yes, man, many times are divided on several different segments. You have the one that have no idea and just
Mm-hmm.
repeat it by trusting someone else that says something.
Mm-hmm.
Others because they want to do on purpose to support individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I would
Motive.
say the very few are very negative, very few. But
Okay.
unfortunately, if there is no balance between the culture and the business aspect taking over the cultural aspect, then you become a target versus many that want to do their business, and they will say or claim or throw a whatever against you in order to
Mm-hmm.
you can look you, you know, to create that mark in order
Mm.
to destroy your reputation, because in reality, if it's a fact that your work was appreciated by many and went through all over, you have no
Mm-hmm.
weapons to destroy someone's reputation unless you start throwing rocks of bullshit and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got to say.
Um, for me, in every culture, each one teach one. For those that know, your job is to teach. For those that don't know, your job is to learn. And I speak because I speak from what I personally observe. I'm someone, I don't really talk a lot. I observe first, and then I make my assumptions. I always view, when I view people and I meet them for the first time, I always view them as here. They have to work their way down through the actions they make. I never look at someone below me. I've never had that personality. Um, but I've ran into some people here that, because when I don't really broadcast myself. I don't really say, "Hey, I'm Mike Euphoria from New York," or whatever the case may be. I'm not into titles. I'm into the person's personal feeling, and there's a lot. I've ran into fake people here. I mean, I've traveled around, so I've ran into fake people everywhere. But I'm speaking with you in pertaining to your country because there are people here that they have the knowledge, but some uses it in a negative way because they have personal issues for themselves. Like you said, you have to look inside yourself first, and then you have some who is overlooking the business aspect times the culture, so they're not willing to share what they have gained to the culture so the culture can continue. Um, I I'm somebody, I speak straight. I don't like to curve my words. Um, there's two people that comes into my mind particularly. One is B-Boy Lorenzione. Um, when I first met him, cool guy, um, but he was very negative, and I said, you know what, this is his personality. But then I came to learn that he works closely with Wiggles, and Wiggles associates him, as a brother. So when I saw that, I said, oh, this is beautiful. He's getting information from a pioneer. So take that knowledge you're getting from a pioneer and distribute it to these kids. Because once you have that knowledge and that power, it's a universal crime to use it for personal gain. It's a universal crime to use it as a tool to separate. It's a universal crime to use that knowledge as to make you feel good because you're insecure. These are all universal crimes. And with someone like him, with the potential and the knowledge he's had, I haven't seen him do anything to uplift the kids because everything I do is for the youth. Like I've always said, if you're in this game and you have your hustle period from like late, let's say teens to about 20s, you're doing it because you have the energy to do it. Maybe you have the love, maybe you have the motive, but once you pass a certain level, your job is to facilitate something to give back to the culture because the culture has given you so much for so long.
Mm.
So individuals like him, and it's not really individuals like him because there's one of him everywhere in the world, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, whether it's France. So it's really not about him, it's what he represents. And this is one form of cancer that has to stop. And you don't want to resort to violence or you don't want to resort for confrontation, but you just wish that whoever these people are, that they can have a reflection, look in the mirror and say, look, you are making this culture look bad. So why would you want to look bad when you have so much knowledge that you can give to the people, but instead of doing that, you're using it as a pedestal for you to say, I'm up here and you people are down there. And I don't say this without personal reason. There was a situation where I have an event, and it's called TMF Workshop Weekly. It's an annual event where I feature workshops. It's a 3-month program, workshops and classes, and then there's an event. And I started this event originally for my kids because I told my kids that I'm teaching, I said, I don't want you to just learn from me. I want you to learn from as many people as possible because I want you to compare what you're learning because there's a difference. I don't want to shelter you to say, oh, you guys are mine and mine only, because it's not about that. Even though that's the mentality here, but I don't rock like that. So I started my event to expose my kids to other people that are teaching. And I decided to employ teachers in this town because I feel if I'm of this culture, I'm doing my part to promote this culture. So I would employ different teachers every year. This is actually my 5th year that I've had it. And this particular year, one of the teachers that I got, he wasn't really into, and he approached me and he basically said, he criticized me on why did I hire this person? And this is when I had to say, okay, enough, because now you're overstepping the line.
Right.
You're talking to someone who has been in this culture since 84, to be realistically 87. When 87, you weren't even in this culture like this. So for you to turn around and criticize my choices on who I should feel to represent my culture in my event was overstepping. And where I come from, you don't do that. So it was from that sparked me to say, okay, enough. And I called it out on it. I had a meeting. I started an association called the Culture Foundation, myself and B-Boy Renato. You know B-Boy Renato?
Yeah.
From Florence. Cool guy. B-Boy Buzz, to be specific.
Cool.
And we started an association called the Culture Foundation, and we had a meeting last year, November, where we invited about maybe 40 people, but maybe 15 people showed up. And I understood why, because this is the mentality, but one of the topics, I addressed this, and I said, we have to stop this type of mentality because this is what's killing the culture. Another person that came to mind when I'm talking about the preservation of our culture is DJ Master Freeze.
Okay.
I think I met him one time, so I don't know him on a personal level to criticize him. I don't know him like that, but he's been working at this club for about, I would say like 20 years, right? If I'm not mistaken, 10 or 20 years. And that means he's been employed for 20 years. And I've never seen him give his knowledge to an up-and-coming DJ that wants to get into the culture to say, look, let me teach you, because maybe one day you can work in your own club for 20 years like I did. Let me pass on this to you. Instead, it's almost like I have a job and I want to keep it, and I don't want to lose this job to somebody who may do it better than me, when it's not about that. So that's what I mean about giving back. Your job is to give back. And I wonder how you feel about this, because if I'm wrong, I'll take it back. But I'm speaking to you as an elder.
I mean, I know Master Freeze from a long time. He's a very good guy. He's a cool dude. But I can
good
about his work, because that's, I'm not involved in his work. Basically, I'm not involved in his work and never been involved in clubs like Florence or Milan. So
Mm-hmm.
I can say that. I know him personally.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a negative person, but
Okay.
concern.
Okay.
That's what I can share about Master Freeze. I know. I mean, with nice guys all the time, and I can't really say that much about that. But you got experience. If you have experience on that level, you probably know what you're saying. But I never been involved in this way. You throw an event, you come to my event, I go to your event, blah blah, this and that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and many times, unfortunately, ain't nothing to do with the culture. It's more like an exchange, an exchange of favors,
Right.
which to me is a very discriminatory in a way,
Absolutely.
and controversial on the other side, because besides having the pleasure to invite whoever you want, right?
Yep.
There is another other things that are involved, which makes the culture the way it is.
Yep.
People they have somehow some way set in a certain um, bars in order to be to put a certain contribution in order to elevate the art form for others, and
Yep.
you got a certain recognition that is way beyond politics or personal exchanges of favors.
Yep.
Once again, my question is why key people are always um, replaced. I spoke a lot.
Say it again. You broke up.
Yeah, yeah. Why key people or pioneers, or but I really say key people. When I say key people, I mean people that are very relevant for this culture. So why key people in this culture? You can replace it all the time. As certain others that didn't put any work and didn't get any type of recognition are always relevant and always be present on every single event. That's to me doesn't make no sense. There is a very, you know,
Same.
you know what I mean? It's
Of
like
course.
why people gotta see you all the time and not certain people they should learn it about it, because what
Yep.
they did is way beyond personal exchanges of favors. So to me
Right.
that's the system. And as you said earlier, I don't think it's only Italy. I seen that in
No, worldwide.
I seen that worldwide, but
Absolutely.
I can say that, and I can speak for my country in this case. Worldwide, I've seen also hip hop culture
Mm.
in different ways. So I see the disparity between the culture aspect and their interpreters of this culture suffering way more than all the others that are always present in every single jam, event, uh, any type of opportunity, any type of platform. They uh, should be uh, should be more open and shared for those people that put work in this culture. So
Mm-hmm.
this culture, it wasn't just an opportunity to for certain to make some money and build their own kingdom. This culture
Right.
was an opportunity for many that uplifted their their condition, their life, their 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 environment, why putting
Yep.
their work that wasn't recognized and appreciated by many and uplifted.
Mm.
Can you hear me? Because I'm
And so,
losing.
what are your thoughts on the other guy, on the other situation I spoke about with Wiggles? What's your situation on that?
But Wiggles ain't nothing to do with this. I mean, Wiggles is just you know, Wiggles is coming to do his thing. And he's doing.
No, I mean in terms of what I said about D-Baller and Sione and Master Freeze. You spoke on the Master Freeze aspect because you clarified that. I
Oh,
want you to finish the clarification on the two aspects.
you mean Lorenzone and Wiggles?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, definitely Wiggles ain't nothing to do with Lorenzone as far as sharing his, you know, his business. His business.
right,
Wiggles is sharing his knowledge and his work, which
yeah,
is necessary.
right,
And thank God we have the opportunity to have him and benefit. But that don't mean just because you know someone you can act like that person or you pretend to be on the same level of that person. Just because you
right.
open an opportunity or whatever, that don't mean you are qualified to do that on
Absolutely.
level. So once again, nothing but love for Wiggles. But this is the problem is not definitely is not uh, whatever you give an opportunity to others in order to share certain type of work that people can benefit. It's
Yep.
it's like if you throw a concert, right?
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean you are hip hop because you throw in concert. Probably you got a possibility to hire artists and do business with it, but that don't mean that you claim certain scores because you share in certain concerts. Or otherwise, if the message is, you know, show as many picture whoever rock star you have the opportunity to be involved or or whatever, that would be a different story. That would be that culture we ain't related. So once again,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think what individual does on a personal level ain't nothing to do with the speculation they have while they do certain work. Okay, it's like if you go to see a Jay-Z concert, you know, if you write in your bio, I was working with Jay-Z, ain't nothing to do with Jay-Z, it's you. So the question is, how many people are are able to figure out the quantity of bullshit that going on in a system or in a culture?
Mm-hmm.
Real stories. So many people see a lot of people coming over here, right? But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, I always say to my friends, because most of them they are my friends, I say, see guys, you do what you gotta do, but because you don't live here. And
Mm-hmm.
necessarily you don't care about what's going on uh,
Mm-hmm.
after you're doing what you gotta do. But
Mm-hmm.
I live here. But
Mm-hmm.
the same thing of the reflection of what I say, I feel that everyone is living in their own country
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
everyone know what's going on in their own environment back home.
Yep.
So once again, but see, this is a form of uh, it's because I think in our culture there is still a sort of self mission and and there isn't a sort of meeting of minds that get together and unite in order to uh, um, you know, preserve this culture
Yes.
that we all related and work with
Yes.
and work for, not only work with,
Yes.
but work for. So
Mm-hmm.
if we don't protect each other somehow, some way, we don't protect our culture.
Yep.
Because if your name is Miles Davis and my name is, obviously is not, it's Ron Carter, you know, and I'm dissing Miles Davis why Ron Carter is a or Coltrane or whatever. What what is wrong to you? You know what I'm saying? So
Of
if
course.
if my name, you don't talk to me about certain people, no matter if no matter if you provide for me certain work or certain service, you don't talk to me in a certain
Yep.
way because you're
Right.
not able and not even qualified to talk,
You're not qualified. You're
qualified
not
to talk
qualified.
certain
Yes.
subject, certain individual, certain topic, certain um, responsibility.
You're not qualified.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Once again, you know, and I don't like to speak about others why not they not present, but this is, as you say, you know, you are a straight person and you say what you got to say, and I respect that. I'm a straight person too. Otherwise, I wouldn't, you know, step back. But definitely, I'm living in this country, and every I should say every day I see so many things going on, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like why I'm not there. Or even close
Mm-hmm.
to me, people say, "Yo, why are you not there? Why are you not involved?" I don't have no answer. I have just I have just ideas how it would be. But I give you an example. I heard that Mike is dope. Oh yes, it's dope, but it takes only a but to change the whole scenario. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, the culture in itself is not unite. It's weak.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone
Yep.
can jump in and separate this from that in order to put his foot in.
Exactly.
So that's what's going on in our culture.
Exactly.
I won't say it's going on because of negativity or bad intention. As I say,
Okay.
bad intention is a very small percentage, a very few as bad intention. Many others,
Mm.
I gotta say, many others somehow some way are desperate in order to balance priority, which life knocking on your door every day. But we all part of this, okay?
Mm.
But once again,
Mm.
if we're waiting that results or ring the bells of your doors and present I'm the solution, it's not gonna happen unless people
Right.
start talking and taking responsibility and start to admitting that there is many things that going on. They shouldn't, they're supposed to go like that. They definitely
That's
are.
right.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. Let's go into another song. What you got?